IVM.
Hey guys, even though Elon Musk is trying to turn everyone into robots, you'll be happy to know that very real human beings work at IVM Podcast, and some of them are even cool. How do I know? Well, listen to their own podcast, IVM Likes, where they recommend what they are listening to, watching, or reading. Catch IVM Likes every Monday on iTunes, Stitcher, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And may I recommend the IVM Podcasts app. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Geek Fruit Podcast. My name is Tejas. Today I have Dinkar with me. Hi man.
Hey man.
Today we are talking about an exciting new movie called Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota.
So exciting.
And it released I only found out about this movie maybe a couple of weeks before its release.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a thing about Indian movies? Why do trailers not drop like how we wait for trailers in American movies and like blockbuster cinemas, we see their trailers at least maybe 3 to 6 months, I'd say, before the movie really drops.
Yeah.
And that's how we build hype and things like that. Why do Indian movies only have, even the blockbusters of India, the tentpole films of India are the big romance movies or the Shah Rukh Khan movies. Why do we only see their trailers maybe 2 months or a month
This
before?
is not true at all.
Of course it is.
No, I suspect this is a function of your internet bubble.
No,
Trailers drop well in advance.
Because I'll tell you why.
Maybe not as much in advance as, say, an Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
But there is a huge hype machine around Bollywood movies.
I'm not discounting the hype machine. I'm saying India and the Indian film industry can get done in 4 to 8 weeks what an American movie can do in 6 months also, right? Because that's what the movies are like. It's the biggest industry here and everything like that. But my point is that because I'm on Twitter and because I'm following like certain little trends and things like that, and when a trailer drops, there are invariably lots of memes, lots of, gags based on that trailer. So I'm aware.
Internet bubble, who are the people you're following on Twitter?
No, but I'm saying but I'm saying like even if I follow like a Vigil Idiot or things like that, there's bound to be like some kind of buzz or some kind of thing around it because this new, like, it'll be trending on Twitter and I follow the trends on Twitter.
This Karan Johar produced movie that I forget who's directing, maybe Ayan Mukherjee, I forget. Anyway, they just did this huge event around
just the trailer,
the title announcement, I believe. I forget what it's called. But
I'm talking about the trailer as opposed to.
But I'm talking about the build-up that they do, right?
How many months
before the Kalank trailer came out like a little couple of days ago, I think.
So when is that movie dropping?
I don't know because I also live in an internet bubble, but my bubble is a little transparent. I can see outside of it and go like, oh, stuff is happening. I'm not like blurry. Super checked in.
Okay, cool, fair enough.
Like I watch a ton of Hindi movies, but I'm not as invested in the chain leading up to them. But like Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota, for example, has been a very buzzy movie because it's been made and out and about for a while. Like I really wanted to catch it when it was playing at Mami.
Right, I remember.
And I couldn't get into any of the screenings. But everyone there was like, this is the must-see movie. It got a standing ovation when it premiered there and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And there was this concern about whether it would release at all because Vasan Bala's previous movie, Peddlers, was again a festival film.
Yeah, I remember. It
never came out because they couldn't find a distributor. But this one, they figured it out.
Yeah, this one's a lot more...
Commercially viable,
yeah, mainstream.
Probably.
Very mainstream film. And in fact, it's the, if I may say this, the antithesis to Bhavesh Joshi superhero. You know what I mean?
How so?
Because that one is like a lot darker, a lot grittier, and it doesn't have comedic elements in the same way. It's like a very dark comedy. It's very Anurag Kashyap.
Yeah,
as opposed to this one, which is like, if you may call that a DC movie, this is a Marvel movie in the sense that it's got a lot more comedy, very more like very many like tongue-in-cheek kind of references, and more like Indian references than. Well, I mean, it's got both. But we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it because I don't think it has more Indian references. If anything, Bhavesh Joshi has more Indian references.
Really?
It's a much more Indian movie, Bhavesh Joshi.
No, I'm not talking about like references to. I'm like pop culture references.
Pop culture references.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yes, it's a lighter movie for sure because of the tone they're going for.
Yeah.
So I don't wanna, it's fair to compare them because they're from directors from the same.
They're contemporaries
space of Bollywood, I would say.
And they're both superhero films.
They're both from the Kashyap stable. Anurag Kashyap at this point has pretty much established himself as like the alterna Karan Johar.
Correct.
he's created an industry.
Yeah.
And the previous time Vasan Bala made a movie, I think Peddlers was in like the early 2010s.
Yeah.
It hadn't quite cemented, but now Anurag Kashyap is like the dude. He's mainstream. He's got the...
He's straight up mainstream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like he's left of mainstream, but in a mainstream way.
It's that same crew, I'd say, even Vikramaditya Motwani, etc. Yeah. Cool. Let's talk about Mard Ko Dar Nahi Hota. You didn't enjoy this film at all, I know. I thought it was fine.
Don't spoil it.
Okay, sorry. Then rewind. Did you? Okay, are we going to spoil this film?
No.
Why?
I don't think we should. Let people watch it.
Well, I thought you were on the opposing side of that argument.
I will give them my views, but I don't. I had like a huge discussion with someone who does like the movie the other day.
Okay.
It's like, man, I don't want to like yuck someone's yum, but
correct.
I didn't enjoy this movie for some reasons.
Okay, cool. So let's get into it. So you didn't enjoy the film?
There's some nuance there, but no.
Okay, cool. I thought it was fine. I mean, yeah, I didn't love it. But I didn't hate it. I think it has a ton of merits, and I think it's completely watchable. Any lead up to this film that was kind of had you in anticipation or anything like that?
Again, it was like the buzz that I heard around it during the festival time.
Yeah.
And as it was releasing, I was pumped for it because it sounds really interesting. It's a classic high concept type movie. The idea is basically this guy, Surya, can literally feel no pain. He's a mard jisko dard nahi hota hai. What I thought going in was that it would turn him into like a kick-ass-ish superhero.
That's what I got. That's what I vibe from the trailers as well.
Yes, but that's not quite what happens. It's a little more about... It's more like an origin story-ish thing for him. If
it's a couple of origin stories.
Yeah.
It's like 2-3 people's origin stories.
Kind of, yeah. So I didn't have like the greatest expectations necessarily, but I was definitely interested in what was going to happen. Then as the movie played out, I was slowly annoyed by it for like a number of reasons. So we're not haters, and I'm not like completely hating.
There are things that I just definitely did not enjoy about this film.
But tell me what you liked about it, because I might struggle to find something.
Let's start. In terms of as far as the concept goes, about this guy who's got this thing, I think there are lots of like little flags that you would like to kind of cross when you're doing a origin story, right? And I thought this was an origin story done like interestingly. It gave a fresh perspective to the fact that the only time I've heard of a character like this was in The World Is Not Enough. The villain of The World Is Not Enough has a bullet lodged in his brain, so you can't really feel anything. But this guy, the fact that he's a kid, I really like the dynamic. Man, Mahesh Manjrekar, man, he's great in this film. I thought he's awesome, and he's funny, and I enjoyed his...
Okay, that's my first point of contention.
Cool, it's fine. So I thought
he was terrible.
I thought he was great.
I thought he was... Somehow, he managed to ham the being natural,
Yeah, I agree.
There's acting natural, and then there's overacting natural.
So this is my thing about this film. I didn't think that this movie is supposed to be taken... it's like watching a really long ad film. Okay? That it's very like... It's got over-the-top moments like most of the time. It's got very like... concept-based like comedy and things like that, because of the fact that he's got this problem or this disease or whatever it is, right? Like he can't feel pain. So like even the first part of the film, which I enjoyed a lot more than the second half of the film, which is that establishing his condition and the fact that he's this kid and he doesn't know how to feel pain, and going through those little montage sequences. I thought it was fine, man. Like I thought it was cool. I liked the whole tropes that they established with the VHS tapes. That's how he learned stuff, or that his grandfather's the one who's really kind of taking care of him while his father is like this really overprotective, paranoid kind of guy. I thought they established all those things really well. Like I enjoyed a lot of it. I didn't really like the way they cut the film to the music. Like I wasn't a big fan of the music.
Exactly. At a conceptual level, I'm on board. I was excited, I would say, to see what this movie would do, and I was just not feeling how they were doing it for the most part. So in theory, the idea that he was raised by his grandfather, his dad is like a paranoid guy who barely lets him out of the house. Brilliant. On paper, I'm on board.
I like all of that. Like I even like the whole thing that he's inspired by this 100-man, whatever, this karate man thing. I thought it was all sweet. Like, in fact, it played out quite nicely as a thing.
I
and he
thought
has
it was
friend.
really poorly done. Though.
I mean, I
it
thought
was
it
just.
fine.
It was. This is a movie with like a very odd rhythm to the
It
editing.
does have an odd rhythm.
It feels
That's what I
disjointed in
didn't
so
like.
many parts.
Yeah, I
so
didn't like that either,
okay,
yeah.
to get into it, right at the start, there is this flashbackish sequence where he explains what happened to
Didn't
him.
like that, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't like the
right at the start.
the meta-ness of that. They could have just opened with it.
Yeah,
you know.
it's like a trying to be Deadpool kind of thing. Though I don't think that was the inspiration for this. Okay, the inspiration for this movie is clearly a Tarantino-esque, like, pulpy...
Tarantino light.
Tarantino... But that's clearly the aesthetic you were going for, like... I mean, this is, in some ways, it's literally a Tarantino story, right? Like, he just saw a bunch of VHS tapes and then said, I could make these movies.
This very 70s, 80s kind of...
Yeah, and it's inspired by this love for, like, a genre picture.
Yeah.
So this is clearly coming from that
the whole
space
karate, kind of the Bruce Lee kind of...
exactly, that, like, Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
All these, like, action-led 80s type movies.
Yeah.
Or like
actually, I enjoyed all of that.
I love those movies.
Yeah.
But this feels like it's trying to pay homage to those sorts of movies and kind of create this pastiche, but it doesn't quite land it because they also try to throw in other elements and they try to turn it into a very classic Bollywood drama also at some points. Basically, he's taking like a bunch of stuff and not quite nailing the melding of them. So I get the concept, which is like, cool. I want to take like the classic pulpy Amitabh type blockbusters or like the Manmohan Desai kind of movies or like Giraftar and Mithun and stuff and just mix them up with the classic martial arts movies. I think that's a good idea because there is actually a lot of crossover there. They're both these like pulpy action-led kind of movies. They're both light or like they have dramatic plots, but it's also a lot about the action. This movie doesn't quite manage to stitch them together.
Yeah, okay, cool. I agree. I agree with that. But I didn't really like... So things I don't like about, dialing into those tropes, right? Like, which is like the whole, my life is about to flash before my eyes, because, and all that stuff, So I don't like those little...
In this movie...
Gimmicky kind of things.
Exactly. But
right?
the entire movie was just like top to bottom gimmicks. So right at the start...
But I
it
think
starts
there's
in media res with a scene from the climax. Okay?
Yeah, classic.
And as the guy is like collapsing, he says like, oh, my life is going to flash before my eyes. So like, just the framing device there is a total gimmick.
Yeah,
when it goes into those flashbacks, there are these multiple fake outs to kind of establish him as an unreliable narrator. Like at one point he goes like, and then a Terminator arrives from the future and he's about to kill me.
But that's only he's not. They're not trying to establish him as an unreliable narrator as much as they're trying to show that he thinks his life is a movie. Right?
Exactly.
Like that's basically what
I get that. Yeah. But it's played. The idea is the first time it happens, he says his mom was being harassed by someone in a theater.
Yeah.
So she just stands up and like kicks the bejesus out of him and he goes like flying off. And he goes like, "Nahi, wo thoda dramatic tha. Let me recap."
Yeah.
And then he starts.
So you must have hated all of those little. You want to get to the point?
I think if you do it once, no, I don't want to get to the point. That's a great device when used well. It's been done in multiple movies a lot of times. But here, he does it the first time, and you're like, "Oh, I get it. Funny joke." Then he does it again, and then the third time on the Terminator thing, he spends like a good 5 minutes explaining the plot of Terminator, and then goes like, "But actually, that didn't happen." And I'm like, "Yeah, no shit, man."
Fair enough. Okay, no, but I always felt so. This is what I was thinking is that when he does that, I don't know if this is maybe I'm mistaken now, but like when he does it once, he's doing it to show that his mom is this awesome person, but his mom kind of dies in this whole incident.
I think that was well established by the point that these gimmicks were thrown in. Like
so
just that first
what he was trying to do is like
nails the idea that his mom is a badass.
Yeah, no, but my point was that when the way he wants to remember his mother and his experience of his, at least the short time that he knew his mother was as this badass, and like he's trying to rewrite almost in his own mind the fact that she's gone, and that the fact that she went out pretty sad. I mean, like, it's a sad ending, but like he doesn't want to live by that kind of memory of it.
Yeah.
So he keeps trying to like adjust. I mean, this is what I try to gather is the point of that.
I think so. Again, like at a skeleton of story level, it makes sense. I just feel like it was stitched together in a very disjointed way that kind of took me out of it. This entire movie gives me the vibe of basic... This is going to be one of my things.
Go.
I'm so sorry.
No, why are you apologizing?
I'm not a hater, but I'm hating.
No, it's fine. You didn't enjoy it. It's okay.
Yep. So, this entire movie is basically a bunch of...
Such a hater.
I know.
Go.
A bunch of film student bros sitting around going like, I have this idea, man, for like a movie. and they make it. Like, there are pieces of dialogue where you can see it's written because they wanted to put that concept into the movie.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you. I'm
ways
with you.
scenes are staged where it's clearly they thought, oh, what if you showed a kid growing up in like stop block and like every time the dad opens the door, he's a different age and a new thing is happening.
Right.
Come up with that first, then later like figure out the sequence around it. I don't know. Maybe that's how it happened.
I'm okay
Maybe
with it.
It's
I was fine with that, honestly.
I
think
can
it was okay.
see this movie being written by a film, bro.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but I'm saying, okay, my thing was, okay, I'll tell you how I kind of saw this. I enjoy the comedy. It's actually really important to kind of even play this off
maybe
against.
I shouldn't be hating so much. I like some things about the movie.
No, I did. No, so similarly. So, but the way I played off against Bhavesh Joshi, right? That's like absolutely straight, kind of super dark, just pure story, nothing else, just pure direction. And obviously, that's the kind of movie that we prefer, right? And this is the kind of movie which is like supposed to be like a proper like pot boiler. And that's why it's like massy and people are enjoying it. And if you want to kind of introduce this kind of concept to people, I know, like, so that we have a tried and tested way that was Bhavesh Joshi, which people didn't really react to. Mm-hmm. And then when I went and saw this in the theater, people responded to this like amazingly, and it was good.
Did they?
Yeah, it was really. I went for like a night show on a weekday, but like it was really good. I enjoyed it. And like when people were like for me, I think the things that I really enjoyed was like I really liked the setup of all these characters. I thought it was really well like established that these are who these people are. You're right. I think they didn't like move from point to point really well. You know, like in terms of like I didn't like some of the editing. Okay, but I think all the tropes, like, you know, the idea that he needs to kind of always be drinking water, things like that. I was cool with it. I was like,
it's fine,
you've created
but
a new.
I'm saying
for me, it's like you created a new universe of like characters who I can like watch. I wouldn't mind watching them again, or you know.
I
things
would.
Like.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. Tejas,
what? It's fine.
I'm going full bad cop.
Go, man.
This movie, I like the tropes, but it's just a collection of tropes. There's no movie here. It's literally just like, oh, what if the guy always has to drink water? Let's start the movie like that, where he's collapsing because he doesn't drink water.
Okay.
Like, you can see it's like a Lego building. A huge skyscraper made of just Legos. I can see every individual brick.
So you could predict every single thing about this movie.
I couldn't predict it. I'm saying that it doesn't feel organic. It feels like you just took the idea of a bunch of tropes and tried to create a pastiche of them with very little movie to stitch it together. It's clear that like you want the idea of like, here's what my villain is doing, and that's why you built to it in that way.
Right.
By the way, the villain, which is Gulshan Devaya, best part of the movie.
Yeah, he's the best part
hands
of the movie.
down.
Yeah.
Like he nails.
But he overdid it also at so many points. Yeah.
I think that's what this movie should have gone for. Maybe something like that, like overdo it in a comedic way. Mahesh Manjrekar, like I said, overdoing it in a supposedly natural way. Or like the melodramatic parts, like when his reunion happens with his childhood love, or maybe not love, I don't know.
Who's Surya's?
Yeah. Huh. Him and, what's her name? Surmi.
Shuri.
His name is Surya.
And she is
her
Supri.
Name is Supri, correct.
Yeah.
Huh. So his reunion with Supri, which is supposed to be this like big emotional moment. Okay. First of all, she sees this kid who she's grown up with, who always would wear those like funky glasses and a backpack full of water.
Yeah.
15 years later, she sees the same dude as an adult.
Yeah.
Okay. But
it
she
takes
obviously
3 times for her to kind of recognize
and I'm like, oh, did you confuse him with the other kid who was wearing a water backpack and weird glasses?
This is so funny that you're talking about this, because when I was watching this, I was like, oh, thank God they didn't make it like a Bollywood moment where she sees him and immediately recognizes the fact.
They should have.
Okay, cool. Maybe they should have.
Because
but I was
they
just
were like, you're creating this idea of like, I'm paying homage to like pulpy Bollywood movies from back in the day.
Yeah, cool.
Then why wouldn't you lean into that moment?
Yeah, because for me, it was just like, okay, in my brain, I was like, okay, cool. I'm glad they didn't do that, because like, even if you saw somebody, like, even if you knew somebody so well when you were what, like 7 years old, and then you saw them when you were like 22 next in life, your first reaction won't be like, oh, you obviously must be that person. That's like...
But why are you relating it to like a real life thing when this entire movie is not trying to be like real life for 90% of it? And then you can't expect me to be emotionally invested in like the 10% where you decide I'm being realistic.
But then that's the whole point of having tropes. So you saying that, oh, why is he drinking water? I was like, that's exactly what they're trying to do.
I'm not saying why is he drinking water. If it was just that, like if you went all in on like let's go ridiculous with these tropes, I'm on board.
But they did.
But here, when the reunion happens, they try to go natural. So there's an eventual part where she recognizes him because, by the way, not because of his ridiculous outfit, which he's the only one on earth who wears, but because he gets kicked and says ouch. And she hears the ouch and she goes like, oh, that's unique. Anyway, so they have the reunion where so then he's saying to her, why didn't you...
By the way, I think there was an edit there. Like, I think that they may have not shot something and then they filled it up with voiceover.
That's very clear. Yeah.
That was that one section which I was just like,
there are obviously parts where they're sitting in edit going like, oh shit, we don't know how to connect these things.
But anyway, let's make it an aesthetic. You know what's the weirdest thing is that I'm not even trying to defend this film, but upon your onslaught of criticism.
I'm afraid I'm going like I'm not super bad cop, which is why you're being forced into good cop.
Exactly. That's plainly it.
You're the anti-devil's advocate. You're just an advocate.
Yeah, I'm an advocate. But my thing is that, like... I don't know why. I mean, like, I found it to be, like, it was like...
Let me complete now let's the example, okay?
Okay, go.
So,
and then I have an idea.
Surya's chasing Surmi and going like, but Surmi, why didn't you tell me? Like, you recognized me. Why didn't you say something? I obviously didn't recognize you. Yeah. And they have this, like, back and forth where she's just like, what? I don't have to, like, always... You can't just, like, come into my life and leave whenever you want. And he's like, no, but what are you saying? And he goes like, yaar, Surya, irritate mat kar yaar. And he tries to say something and he's like, don't. And like, that's clearly a scene where the dialogue direction was something like, let's try and make it natural. Why would you do that? The entire point, like if you're going for a Tarantino-esque movie.
Okay, cool, got it.
Nobody talks naturally in a Tarantino movie. Nobody goes like, excuse me, can I have
but there were a lot of
a
moments
quarter
like that
pounder with fries?
There were a lot of moments like that in the films. I feel like few characters did the natural thing and some people didn't do that. Like the father is a very scripted guy, but but
Mahesh Manjrekar is...
But dude, I really liked his character for being like this antithesis to the dad, and because of how strict and structured that guy's dialogue was, it was fine that like dude, he was great, man.
Mahesh Manjrekar was clearly ad-libbing lines.
Really?
Yeah. Or at least ad-libbing in the delivery.
Yeah. No, I was fine
overdoing the naturalness of it. Like, he's clearly doing it and going like, wow, my acting's so natural. Isn't it, guys? Look straight into camera and say to them.
Can't believe this.
Okay.
I actually really enjoyed it.
Mahesh Manjrekar, right at the start of the movie, is like a typical grandpa. Then... the accident happens, mom dies, granddad and dad are raising the kid.
Okay.
And then during the montage, he suddenly turns into a hippie.
Why are you questioning that now? Like, I mean, like
why wouldn't that be part of his character from the start?
Suddenly he's wearing... as in he's got like a cap and stuff.
First he's wearing a fedora, then he's wearing like a Netaji cap.
He's getting like a chiller with age, dog. He's like loosening up.
He's got a man bun at one point and I'm like...
Yeah, that's cool.
But none of this... Why wouldn't he have that from the start?
I was fine with it. Honestly, I was fine with it. I'll tell you what. Let's take a break. Let's come back. And then we're going to switch roles, alright?
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what I really didn't like about this
movie is a Simba for hipsters.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please make sure that you do. We're IVM Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please do. With the upcoming election season just around the corner, in case you really wanted a deep dive into some of the issues that matter, you should check out some of the shows on our network. Shows like Ganatantra, The Seen and the Unseen, The Pragati Podcast, Pulyabazi, and even How to Citizen look into some of the issues that really do matter. This week on Cyrus Says, Cyrus is joined by Tripti Khamkar. Tripti talks about how she got into acting from a young age, convincing her family, discovering her comedic talent, and her very own podcast, Golgappa. On Shunya One, Varun Deshpande from the Good Food Institute joins us to talk about the Good Food Institute and the work that they're doing. On Thalle Harate, our Kannada podcast, Pawan and Surya discuss the Indian judiciary and all that we need to know about its citizens. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam hosts an hour-long special with Anil Gilani, head of passive investments at DSP Mutual Fund, and Mukesh Agarwal, CEO of NSE Indices, India's largest index and index service provider. This week, look out for the 50th episode of the Habit Coach podcast. Host Ashton Doctor is joined by a special guest on this one. And with that, let's continue with your show.
Hey guys, we're back. We're talking about Dard ko Mard Nahi Hota.
Mard ko Dard Nahi Hota. Parentheses, The Man Who Feels No Pain, which is a part of the official title.
I thought that title is very misleading.
What?
So here's the thing. Not misleading.
I love this movie, by the way.
Okay.
We switch roles now.
So we switch roles.
Yeah.
No, so here's my thing. I always thought that The Man Who Feels No Pain, right? Okay, things that I didn't like about this movie. I didn't like the main guy. I didn't like Surya. As a kid, it makes sense that he was this... and I get that he's like emotionally stunted and stuff.
Yeah.
But as an adult, he literally has no like... no depth like whatsoever. Like there was nothing to kind of deter him from his one track kind of purpose or objective, and I just didn't. I couldn't respond
I thought
to
the
that.
guy himself, Abhimanyu Dasani, I believe his name is, who I haven't seen in anything before.
It was introducing Abhimanyu.
It was
Dasani.
introducing,
yes,
huh?
Yeah.
I thought he was pretty good. I
love this. Okay, cool. All right.
I see what you're saying about there not being depth necessarily, but that's also kind of the way the character was built.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, and I agree. But like
even his biggest goal is still getting a chain back first for his mom, then for
but then I mean, why am I following this guy's life? Like, if it's got no real true meaning to it.
He's the murd, yeah?
Yeah, sure. But like, I responded a lot more to either karate guy. What's his name? Not Jimmy.
Karate Money.
Karate Money, right?
Yeah.
Money. Okay.
Money.
I thought he was like a much richer, deeper
I like
character.
the idea that he's called Karate Money.
Yeah, it was great. Like, he was cool. I like the fact that he has got one. I mean, it was like weird and and unique, and that fight sequence was pretty
that
badass.
Entire villain segment. Perfect.
Having said that, apart from, I think, Supri's action and Karate Money's that videotape, the action was like, what was going on, man?
I think they were going for this like highly stylized sort of choreography.
I hate slow motion, guys.
Yeah.
I hate it. Stop doing it. Bollywood. Okay, listen to me. Stop doing it.
We're listening.
Stop doing slow motion.
But they are
it's
doing
the most annoying. Okay, you know how long this movie is? It's 2 hours, 20 minutes.
You take out all the slow motion.
If they just played it in
real time, it'd be like about an hour and a half.
Yes, my God, it was so gratuitous, and just like man, it was just so unnecessary. And it was the same. Okay, he does the same roundhouse flying kick. Maybe I'm sure we can do a count of it. Maybe 15 to 20 times in this movie.
That's the move they worked on.
Yeah, and I was just like, yo, this is an action film, I get it, but do something. The more visceral scenes were with Supri, who uses her, her dupatta, and that was cool, it was fine, and it had an art form to it, how when they train all these actors, they say we're gonna go with this style or this style or this style.
Yeah,
hers felt like it had a style.
Cool.
This
her
guy was just
scene, where she, not her first. Yeah, when she finds these guys kidnapping a lady, I think, and stuffing her into a cab, which is very surreal. Yeah. But anyway, her fight scene there, brilliant,
awesome. Yeah, it was a great fight.
And then
scene.
They go for this highly stylized thing where there's a little kid who turns on the radio, which is playing
that was cool, man.
I think that's cool.
That was
and
the
entire movie, if they nailed that kind of dynamic, perfect.
Yeah, I agree. I think that scene was a highlight. Okay, but man, it was just annoying me that the action sequences, which is what this film is, so to speak, heading towards, right? Because he's supposed to be a hero.
They brought in these action choreographers from the foreigners, I believe.
Well, they should stay there because it wasn't. I mean. It was fine. Even the last fight sequence. What did you think of the last fight sequence with there was a one-on-one thing?
The fight itself, I thought wasn't great.
Yeah,
but I like the trope of it, which was Jimmy basically going okay, chalo.
But that's because he's owning that scene, and
he's chewing the scenery, and he does a great job. But the conceit of it, I like. And there's the best moments in the movie, I think, are in that fight scene, especially in terms of the kind of humor it's going for.
But that's still all him. I don't think the humor in that scene, and then it gets absurdly dark for a minute.
There's
what I mean?
no tone here.
There was, I agree. That was just pointless, and I was just yo, what's going on over there?
It's the same thing with the stylization. I think it's fine if you're going for this over the top, almost humorous kind of action.
Yeah.
But then do it well. It doesn't. Whereas a movie like a Simba or a Singham, I'm sure does it well. So this movie...
I've not seen those.
Okay, but or even take, say
I can't watch any movie with slow motion, Dinkar.
Take a Salman Khan's Wanted.
I've seen it.
I knew it.
I've seen it.
Okay, that's a movie that knows what it's doing, right? It's I want to make a masala action movie. I'm making a masala action movie.
Correct. And that's the one that started it, right?
Correct. It did not, first of all. Get out of here with that. It was started by Mahesh Babu's Pokiri.
I know, but I'm saying I'm talking about Bhai.
50 times.
I'm talking about Bhai.
Yes, Bhai is the Bhai Connaissance.
The Bhai Connaissance, it was from Wanted.
Started with Wanted.
I will say this though. Which is your favorite Bhai?
My favorite Bhai film in life?
After the no, don't say
in the Bhai Connaissance.
Yeah.
Maybe Dabang?
Okay.
Again, a movie that is unapologetically doing exactly what it's doing.
Exactly, I agree.
I want to make...
But the action is better in Ek Tha Tiger. I don't know why
I haven't seen Ek Tha Tiger. How many tigers were there?
There was Ek.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, alright. Just checking. But yeah.
What about, and then there was the sequel, Tiger Zinda Hai.
And then he says at the end, I will not be the last tiger.
Oh, are you serious?
No, that's the last Jedi. Everyone, calm down.
Okay.
Point is, I don't
Ek
like...
tha Tiger, Tiger Zinda Hai, trilogy,
Episode
Save
9.
the Tiger. Boom. Save the tiger.
Save something.
Gotta save something. Okay.
Moving on.
But movies like Dabangg, Wanted are unapologetically doing what they're doing.
Correct.
So
like
this,
that Rohit Shetty school of filmmaking.
Yeah, or like, I mean, Rohit Shetty is basically doing
Now
a take on like
the RCU, the Rohit
Wanted was
Cinematic
Prabhudeva, right? Who directed it?
Yeah.
And
correct. Yes,
again,
right.
all based off of Mahesh Babu's Pokri, which also might have been directed by Prabhudeva. I forget. But anyway, these are like, Pokri is one of the legit greatest potboilery action movies I've ever seen. And this movie is trying to pay homage to the same kind of movies that inspired Pokri, but with this filter of film snobbishness.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I still
This has
didn't
been
think
the
it.
Geek Fruit Podcast.
I still didn't think it was. Yeah, I don't think it was massively terrible. I've seen bad films, you
I
know,
will,
and like.
Let me admit some things. Maybe at a personal level, I've met and dealt with too many people who want to make this kind of movie, so it felt like personally annoying to me.
Yeah, okay, my first reaction and we're both like filmmakers ourselves and we've written our own stuff and, shot and stuff. So for me...
Yeah, let me put a disclaimer right here. I feel like if you made a movie or if I made a movie, we'd make a movie like Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota Hai. And
I don't think so, man.
Like,
I don't think so.
Why?
Because I don't think... You know why? It's because, first of all, I think about this a lot. I'm just like, holy crap, if I have to make a mainstream film, does it have to be like Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota? But then the antithesis, like I mentioned earlier, Bhavi Joshi exists.
Okay.
And you can write a very serious... Yeah, maybe it won't be like seen as much by... but we know what we would make, or at least what... We don't know how much we would... succumb to
but
what
I
we're
don't
trying
think
to
this was
offer.
succumbing at all.
I think this is what
First
it was,
of all,
though.
I was trying to be nice, but you're right. We would never make a movie like that. Or at least, like, I don't think that's our sensibility.
It's not. It's
Secondly,
definitely not.
I don't think the guys making this movie, or Vasan Bala in particular, has succumbed to anything. I feel like this is exactly what he wanted to make.
I disagree. I
Why?
completely disagree. I think...
What does he succumb to? There was no commercial expectation to this movie. As far as anyone knew
it's a
when
small
it was
budget
made
film. I
and
agree,
released,
but-
it was a festival film.
Right, but I also feel... Let's look at his track record of releasing films, and some of them have not come out, man. Like, I think what he was going for was a very mass, like, appeal of, like, basically, it's like somebody saw Bhavi Joshi and went like, okay, cool, the good superhero movie has been made. It doesn't work in
Let me
India.
make the terrible one.
It doesn't work here in India. It doesn't.
Sure.
It doesn't, like, people won't watch it. Or
Bhavesh
maybe
Joshi didn't work commercially.
it did
agreed.
not work. Yeah, and like some people are in this business for a reason. I know he wanted to write a film. He was. It feels like Vasan Bala was trying to write a film that he was okay with, but at the same time would appeal to a lot more people. And then he made this film, right?
I was reading an article on Film Companion.
Yeah.
Because I'd Googled the movie after watching it. And it was this thing saying, here's every single film reference in Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota Hai. And I was like, wow, people really like this movie if there's these like listically sort of articles being made about it. Which is not a culture you usually see here. Usually it's like parroted PR press releases. So I click over to the article and I'm reading through. And like there's some pretty weird, obscure stuff like, oh, this thing is a reference to like so-and-so, and also like some pretty obvious
Obvious
stuff.
ones, yeah, of course.
But obscure not in the sense of like I've never heard of these movies. Obscure in the sense of I was like, oh, does that even count as a reference? Like there was this one part where he says that scene where Surya and Karate Mani are lying outside the bar drunk is a reference to Eternal Sunshine. And I remember the scene. They're basically just both lying down the same way Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet lie
And
down.
everyone is
And I'm
lied
like,
down.
just because they're in the same, I can't go like, oh, this reference to.
But who wrote this article?
It was some person. But then as I scrolled to the end of it, I realized it's all from Vasan Bala. He's saying...
He said only.
Yeah, he's saying like, yeah, when I did this, it was a reference to Eternal Sunshine. So he's saying, I had two of my characters lying in the same position as a shot from Eternal Sunshine.
You mean every shot in so many different movies?
Yeah, like...
Then Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara doesn't mean it was referencing Eternal
No, I think
Sunshine.
he's right. Like, I made a film once where there was a character standing, which was obviously a reference to Robert De Niro in The Godfather 2. There's a scene where he stands as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's not like Luke Cage. That's
there's
a goddamn
another
reference.
scene-
That's a goddamn reference. Yeah,
that's true.
If you want to reference a film, that's how you do it. Man, okay. This is interesting information.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like he made exactly the kind of movie he wanted to make.
I agree.
I'm sure
but at the
he's
same
very proud
time,
of it.
I'm sure
and
he was.
I'm happy that he got to do it.
I'm very
It's not
aware.
for
I
me.
feel like he was very aware that it was still gonna have a lot of mainstream appeal in that sense. Like, I don't know how well acquainted he was with the I keep bringing up Bhavesh Joshi, I don't know why, but like, I think...
Yeah, I don't think that's a fair comparison. Go on.
I don't know. Is it though?
As in, I don't want to hate on this movie by comparing it to Bhavesh Joshi.
I'm not doing that.
I want to hate on it for its own merits.
No, I'm not even hating on this film. I think it was an effort.
Yeah, I'm making my point a lot more passionately, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, and I think also
I'm just disappointed.
Our language of superhero cinema is still in its developmental process, you know?
I don't even want to... Okay.
Like, I don't know how we are going to take the very Western concept of a superhero and how we're going to adapt. I don't think adaptation is what will make it work. Like, I think it has to be a very organic kind of take. And that's
where this movie fails completely.
Okay, fine. But
let's
I'm just
bring
saying,
Bhavesh Joshi out now and say...
I don't think it's a fair comparison, but okay, go ahead.
But when I was saying that Bhavesh Joshi is a way more Indian movie, they didn't just take the idea of like superhero but in India, right? Which is what this movie tries to do. Or if you want to even call it a superhero movie, which I'm not sure of.
Yeah, okay,
or like
fair enough.
a Krish, say, tries to do the same thing. Superhero but in India. It's
Exactly.
just like, let's make all the characters Indian.
Okay.
Bhavesh Joshi is an organic Indian
Story.
superhero movie.
No,
Like they say if the idea of a superhero happens here, like characters like Superman and Batman were created in a certain era, like in a certain country
for the period of its time.
Exactly.
And,
I mean, Superman at one point becoming the symbol of Americanism and like an
anti-commie
kind of dude.
Yeah.
So like they were born out of great motivation. Inspired by the things around them.
Yeah.
Same with Bhavesh Joshi. So in parts where like Bhavesh Joshi has to like fight against literally a municipal issue.
This is where I have to defend this movie. I don't think that you are solely, relegated to making films about...
Absolutely. That's why I didn't want to compare the two.
Exactly. But my point is that if you want to make a movie about a guy who can't feel any pain, and then you make like a comedy out of it, you are allowed to do that, right?
But it's not quite a comedy. Or like as a comedy, it's just so editing is so important in a comedy, and this movie is like
all right,
so poorly edited.
I still think there were a lot of laughs in this film.
What did you think of Atul?
Who's Atul again?
Atul is Supri's fiance, who's paying for the entire family.
Weird.
What was that, dude?
I mean,
that's not a human character.
At
one point, there's like a car crash outside their house, and
how do we know, man?
Oh, how do we know what?
Like, how do we know that? You're saying that people like that don't exist?
I'm sure people like that exist. But he's so poorly done because literally every line out of his mouth is
a negative comment.
Yeah. The first time.
But you are also saying that they need to double down on these characters being very archetype or not like stereotyped kind of versions of it. I mean, it's like
every line he's introduced so poorly. Okay,
arguing every line against each other's points, like whenever it doesn't work in our favor.
It's a devil's advocate circle.
Yeah.
At the hospital, when Supri is there, she's admitted karate money, and he's in the ICU or whatever. And there's
that scene was weird also.
Exactly. There's these two random boys there who we never know anything about other than the fact that they happen to be there. And then they're like, "Acha, main nahi ruk raha hu, main ja raha hu." And she's like, "Arey, koi to ruko yaar." And they're like, "No, we can't wait." And then one guy out of nowhere goes like, "You know her. Today she's waiting with you. Tomorrow she'll wait with someone else." And I was like, who are you and what are you saying?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then suddenly you cut to an angle where this boy, Atul, wearing a super hipster, like, he's wearing an Andy Warhol print of a bunch of faces, okay? In a hospital where everyone else is dressed pretty nicely. So already you look at him and you're like, what the is going on here? He's dangling these medicines in front of her and going like, "These are your parents' medicines." And I'm like, "Bhai, tu hai kaun? What are you doing here?" And she goes like, "Atul, I'm so sorry," or something.
For me...
No, even better. She doesn't say his name, okay? And Surya sees the guy. 3 scenes later, Surya's talking to her about like, "Oh, are you going to go talk to that boyfriend of yours? All-time Udas loser." And she's like, "Who?" And he's like, "Atul." And I was like, "Who the is Atul?" Because his name hasn't been mentioned after that point.
That's that famous song.
Yeah. What is going on in this movie?
Okay, I'll tell you what. For me, it was, I don't know, it seemed like clear that they were trying to go for a version of her own father who was kind of really oppressive on her. And she's found somebody very similar. And
I think you're giving it too much credit.
No, okay, I'll tell you why. Because this theme is there in the movie that is established earlier saying that she can fight for everybody else except herself, right? That's what I gathered from the time they were kids, when, she'll fight and she'll help Surya do this all the time. Except when her dad comes and she has no power, right? And so
Same
this
with
guy...
Atul.
Correct. So that's...
All-time with us loser.
That's all it's supposed to be.
There's a long scene between her and the mom where the mom is like, who is a great actress.
She's great, yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Where she says, like, why don't you run away? Why are you doing this? And she's like, do you know people my age become millionaires? I'm 21 now. And I'm like, you're 21 now? What the f*** are you doing, man? Go get a job.
I agree. But
She's like, paise ki to zarurat hai na. And I'm like, so...
Yeah, she should have gotten a job. I agree. But I also like the fact that she's like, I don't know what I want to be in life. That was fine.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a good scene, man. Because, like, you're always going to find, like... I mean, in movies, everyone has a purpose and a choice and everyone's doing something.
Exactly, but you can't
find that,
come up... It's clearly something where they've come up with what the character should do first and then fit a character into it. You created the bowl and then figured out what liquid you want to pour into it.
Wow. Okay. No, but for me...
I get filmmaker.
Bowl filler you are. That's all you are. But I don't know, man. Like, it felt like because that was written because they want to make her find a purpose because she's a fucking fighter, man. I don't know, man. Whatever. Yeah. Like, it was obvious that she doesn't want to do any kind of job and she wants to, like, do this whatever social work. Man, see, I'm not saying it was done with nuance. I just saying everything was there or it was placed on the face of it. Maybe it wasn't done well.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Macro level.
Yeah.
What is the point of this movie?
Oh man, let's not even do that.
Like, I genuinely don't see why this movie is a thing.
Okay,
it really feels to me like you're taking the kind of, like, shoot 'em up style,
correct,
like over the top ridiculous action movies.
Yeah.
Which make perfect sense when you do them. Like, if you make a shoot 'em up in Hollywood, it's new, it's novel, and I don't think that's a great movie either. But also,
it's alright. It's alright. Yeah.
It's fun. But there's a place for it, right? You're saying like, whoa, this is fresh, novel, whatever.
No, man, I don't
think... In India, that's our default way of making movies. So all you're doing really is taking that same thing and going like, yeah, but what if I went to film school?
I think you're being unnecessarily harsh.
I am, yes.
On why does the movie exist?
I'm so sorry.
It exists because it does it. That's it. Okay, and he wanted to make a movie. I think a better question to ask.
Why should I watch the movie?
Better question. No, but a better question to ask is what is the real theme of this movie, and which is why I was kind of upset with the title because it says the man who feels no pain, right? And so I thought this movie, and this is what I thought in my head how it was going to go, is that this guy is a kid who literally cannot feel any pain. Then his mother dies. And he is not ready to accept it as a kid. He grows up emotionally stunted, and towards the end, he has to find some meaning and the ability. You know what I thought? I was reminded. No, I didn't. This is why I was upset with it. Right? I'm saying the scene that kept coming back to me is something so brilliant. Obviously, it's from The Dark Knight Rises, which is another movie. Which is why I love that movie. Even more so than the others, is because it has this one theme where it says, Bruce Wayne is this character who is like, he's like, I'm fearless now. And in the prison, he's like, do it without the rope, like climb that prison without the rope, because fear is the only thing that makes you want to fight a lot more. And, it makes you feel alive again. Like, and without that fear in your heart, you don't fight faster, run faster, fight stronger than you ever have in your life.
That's a character arc.
Correct, right? Brilliant arc. Awesome. And he does it without the rope and he climbs out of there. Brilliant, right? And the bats come in. Oh my God, it's my favorite scene ever. In this movie, and this is why I didn't like the lead character. And I liked everybody else around him.
Arc.
Yeah, everybody else I thought had a character arc. I thought everybody, like Supriya was fine with. Karate Money was awesome. He was great.
Yeah.
But the main character who your film is based around, which is why I didn't enjoy his... I mean, maybe it's not his acting, it's the writing. And I'm sure you'll subscribe to that as well.
Yeah.
But like, it's like at the end, his role is to find the ability to feel pain,
Which he doesn't.
It's a one-track arc. And
his arc is, I should drink water. And the resolution of the arc is, he drank water.
And at the end of the movie, he just tells Supri, don't kill people with a gun, hit them with your hands.
Which is again a callback to something he said in
earlier,
the first scene.
That's fine. Callbacks are fine. I'm just saying that, but that surely cannot be the point of the film.
Exactly.
Which is why, that's where I feel the film is lacking. I think everything
that's
else,
what I'm saying.
Okay,
there's
cool, it's poorly edited,
there's no purpose to this movie, and that's not an issue.
Yeah.
I'm saying like a movie like in a certain sense, you could say a movie like a Simba has no purpose, but I would argue that it does. They're trying to create a potboilery movie that like creates the Simba
But
cinematic universe.
How is this not that? How is that, at least not? It doesn't have to be, but the attempt is to be that, like as you mentioned.
Okay, in Simba's case, he's saying, I want to make the massiest, most killer masala action flick that talks about, like, that is exactly what I do as Rohit Shetty. In this movie's case, I feel like it's trying to do the same thing, but that's already a thing that exists. And you're just trying to do
So you're saying that what if because it exists, like it cannot be made again?
Not unless you do a good job of it.
Okay, no, that's so subjective. Oh my gosh. Okay.
This is okay.
Okay, my point is okay. Now, if you take okay, and this is like a larger theme, is that do you think that if you're not adding anything to the vocabulary or the entirety of film cinema in terms of something, if you're not adding any new thing,
no, I'm not talking about a purpose of art kind of level. What I mean is, I feel like the purpose of this film was literally to be like some just a pastiche or an homage, and like it's got like a laundry list of
check boxes.
But you can't do that without like then it's just a feature-length sketch, isn't it?
And that's because what it plays off as. I'm saying,
which is a terrible thing for a movie to be.
I mean, yeah, okay, cool.
Of course it is. I mean, because it's just a laundry list of like, I want to make all these references to all these films.
Until you do it well. Okay, yeah.
The rap song at the end is literally like line after line. It's just name-checking things.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's perfect because this movie is just a bunch of name checks.
Fair enough. But you know, like... Okay, cool.
I really liked it though.
What, the rap song?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the movie.
I didn't like the music.
Let's talk about good things. I thought Gulshan Devaya was spectacular.
I think he was good. I think they overdid it, and because he's so good, they kept
so weird. Like the one thing I liked about the movie you didn't like.
No, I enjoyed all of it, but like at the end, like it's a lot of ad-libbed lines. I'm sure he was just going off.
Clearly,
and they decided, oh, this guy's really funny. Let's just keep all of it. I didn't think that was right. Like
in some parts, you can see it.
Yeah, you can tell that it's like some of it is like seriously funny, and then I'm just like, okay, but save it. Don't like. Okay, don't use so much of a good thing that it just loses its novelty.
That's definitely the case. Like the scene where
that's definitely the entire movie.
It is.
It is.
The scene where he's in Jimmy's office and they're arguing over the phone. Clearly, that entire scene was like ad libs.
Yeah, I mean,
it's so odd.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't like that scene of. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, but like I still enjoy many things about this film. I don't know why.
I'll tell you the moments I found funny.
Yeah.
Okay, like the one part I genuinely laughed is where there's a henchman in the last scene who kind of like slightly opens his eyes.
Yeah, and
sees that the murd is still at it, and he's like, "Oh, this," and he shuts his eyes again.
That was funny. Great. In fact, I liked it a lot. And then you know. Okay, if you want to just talk about the ending, the ending gets like insanely unnecessarily dark for like a second or like all of like 2 minutes, and then it's resolved in 1 minute and the movie's over.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yo, that's not a thing.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Again, feels like I want to make this movie dark. Make the movie dark. Fine, whatever. Then there's
zero repercussions.
Actually,
I kind of like that there's no repercussions because then that fits in well with what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But
the epilogue, if you remember, was oh my god, I found the perfect analog for this movie. I'll come to it. The epilogue is that he becomes like an office-going regular dude.
Right.
And then, which is, again, felt like just a completely inorganic thing where you're like, oh yeah, but what if, as the resolution of the movie, we make him an office-going guy? Fine.
Yes,
that's
something
a choice.
by day.
Then you immediately flip that choice and go like, oh, but here's a scene from potential sequel.
No, I thought it's because he needs like if he's going to be a superhero, he needs a by day something, and by night he's something. But that was what they were trying to do.
Do you think this movie's like Wanted, the James McAvoy one? With the bullet curving?
I know. Based on the comic book.
Based on the comic book.
Which is good.
Yep.
But the movie, not so much. Actually, you know, that movie is like...
It's not...
Again, it's so ridiculous, that movie.
Yeah.
But... it's fine, man. Like, I mean...
Even I think it's an okay movie.
So this
Wanted.
movie...
This movie is like a poorly done version of that same goal.
I'm not saying it was fucking amazing. Oh, like, wow, this is the fucking
I'm
level of cinema.
not accusing you of
I'm
it.
just saying that, okay, this movie had some ideas. I liked some of those ideas. It was funny. I laughed. That's it. I don't think every movie has to be like, oh, I hated this movie. Oh, I love it. It was so good. It was just an average, like, superhero film And for me, I think it was inflated. Yeah, it was not perfect. It was fine, man. Whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't mind it at all.
Again,
and trust me, because I've seen like bad films. We watch bad films all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw 2.0. We saw like Krish. We've seen what this genre has like evolved into, and it's its own thing. But like this one tried something. Yeah, it didn't work completely, but I think there were some good ideas, man. This next film will be better.
I'm sure, and I look forward to it.
That's all I'm saying. Because Dinkar, when I make my superhero film, I know you're going to calm down. So no, I'm just joking. I'm not making a superhero film.
Yeah, neither am I.
Because we're done.
Good for Vasan Bala, man. He did what he wanted.
Yeah.
I'm just not the biggest fan of it.
Okay. We should get him on the show.
Yeah.
Ask him, man.
Just never release this episode, then ask him to come on the show.
No, why? Why are we so afraid of like saying...
Poor guy. He went... I think
nice poor guy.
Yeah, I don't hate this movie as much as I'm like arguing against it. I'm
not
just
gonna
trying to make a point here.
He's not going to listen to this.
Oh, no.
Oh man!
Damn it!
Okay, check it out.
My plan is
failed. I'm gonna add a little caveat. Okay, I'm saying, Vasan, I know you're listening to this, man.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think Dinkar hated the movie as much as, or the fact that I love the movie as much as I claim, or he hated it as much.
Yeah, we're both probably a lot
both
closer.
like closer in. I just didn't get as offended because I had like no expectations from this at all. Like I went in like thinking, oh, this is going to be like, because I didn't like the trailer, to be completely honest. I thought it was fine. I was like, okay, cool, because it's in the realm of what we speak about, I ought to go watch it. But I was not jazzed about it. I was like, okay, cool, let's watch it and then we'll deconstruct it. And when I went in with such zero expectations, I came out like pleasantly like surprised, and I laughed, and I was like, okay, thanks for the laughs. No thanks for the 2.5 plus or whatever, the 2.5 hour running time. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, why is the movie so long? Okay.
Because of slow motion.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Honestly, if I have to say I absolutely hate something in this movie,
and slow motion.
My god. It's so unnecessary. Yeah. Guys, like Indian cinema needs to get the over this. That's not how you do action. Okay, anymore. Bullet time is over.
This is so weird. Like the things you passionately hate about this movie, I thought they should have gone for.
And I went with Janam for this film, right? Man, I swear, whenever there was like a bullet time or whatever, slow motion, both of us were just on our phone. Like we were just like, okay, Instagram. And I swear I could do a whole like swipe of my phone, check my feed, and come back, and the shot was just concluding. My God. Just stop it, guys.
I'd just like to say something. Vasan, I don't think Tejas hated this movie as much as he's making it out to be.
Shut up.
I know you're listening.
Oh, God.
Okay, cool.
You know, he's going to find this. There are not that many podcasts around. Okay.
I'd love to discuss this with him.
I would love to pick his brain, ask him why he did this.
But not like
slow motion.
Yeah. Will you ask, so why did you do this? Or like, so why you did this?
No, not like Dinkar's asking. He's saying like, so why? What's the purpose of your entire career and why you're making films?
I feel like that's a fair question to ask to someone who makes a movie.
No, I'm saying why? What is the purpose of making this film?
I don't know. Ask Vasan, man.
No. I mean, like, in the sense that, like, why make this film at all when this kind of film has already been made? I don't think that's fair. It's like, okay, one second. It's like,
I wanted to
8 million country albums.
That
okay?
I didn't mean it.
Why make a country album again?
Okay, you're misunderstanding.
Because you want to make it.
I'm not saying okay. Frame it as not what gives you the right to make this movie, which is what you're doing it as.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying why make when
like
it has
another
already
way
existed?
to put my question is, what are you trying to make, Mr. Bala? Like, are you trying to make an over-the-top ridiculous action movie, or are you trying to make a classic potboiler movie that also kind of move you? When I say what is the purpose of this movie, I mean what is it supposed to do to me? Because it did nothing.
Okay,
was I supposed to really care about Surya and then like really feel when he was almost dying at the end?
Yeah, but I don't have to. No, for me it's like I came out of this. I didn't feel any major. My God, my life has changed at the end of this film. I went in, I laughed, I came out, boom, it's done, right? And maybe that's what's the purpose of this film.
I didn't laugh that much.
Okay, whatever. I'm saying I laughed because that's something that actually happened to me in the cinema.
That's something you saw on Instagram. Which you were scrolling while you were watching this movie?
I was not like inert through this film, like where I was just sitting in my chair and just going like, okay, cool, I just saw a film. No, when the moments came, when it was funny, I laughed. And so that's the emotion I came out with, saying that, okay, cool, this movie had some laughs in it.
Do you remember this?
I just wanted to complete one thing where you were just like, is he trying to make this or is he trying to make this? I'm saying he was trying to make both, okay? And he made it, and it was not the greatest. That's all.
Okay.
No more should be said about this movie. No more time should be spent discussing how great or how bad it was.
When the fight is happening in Jimmy's office.
Yeah.
And it spills out of Jimmy's office, okay?
This is the
fire one,
yeah,
where they
with
lock all these guys.
Fire.
Yeah, a very fake fire.
The
like you can
VFX.
see the Loban from the side.
No, dude, it was some digital VFX happening for the smoke. You could just tell because it was like in a loop, like it was like a GIF or something.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, the security guys are running out, and then they're locked out, and this like old cha-cha type security guard.
Okay, yeah, they're asking for vendor registration, all that stuff.
Okay, yeah. First of all, that's clearly a joke because at some point
it's a very
in-joke kind of thing.
I enjoyed it. I was like, thank you.
Because you had to deal with vendor registration.
I'm constantly registering.
Yeah, but that wasn't my...
as a vendor.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I liked it.
Yeah, it felt like it's a in-joke, fine.
There were a
my
couple
question
of inside
was,
jokes also.
They run out, they go to another floor, and then suddenly there's like a bunch of guys in gym outfits also fighting them. What happened there?
I can't remember it.
There was nothing. I feel like there was an
entire... When they come out and
when they go to another floor.
Yeah, before they exit the building using that rope.
Exactly. And so... Which, by the way, that descending the rope thing suddenly, because clearly you forgot to shoot or there was no budget or whatever.
No budget, yeah. But I'm saying...
You chose like a 6-second animation sequence. Lean into it, man.
I know, I agree. No, but 6-second animation sequence, I feel like they could have chosen a better way to not show. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because there's no established version that you're showing animation previously. I agree.
When like the entire... Why in that scene wouldn't you go like, then this like...
Why animation supports life?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You had so many options. Okay, fine, whatever.
Okay, but I'm okay. All I'm saying is, I was not as offended as Dinkar was.
In fact, so I've talked to multiple people who've really enjoyed this movie, which is what surprised me more. I want to know what I'm missing. I don't know.
I think
I've made my case.
I think expectations is one. Like
possibly.
I mean, no, and it's fine that we expect a better, level of cinema from people, especially from a genre that is close to our hearts. I agree. But, like, I don't know why. I think maybe it's like, and this is a terrible thing to say, but because it's an Indian film and I was willing to give it a lot more leeway, which is why maybe I loved Bhavesh Joshi so much, because I went in with the same expectations, because we've been burned before, man, with like other movies. And so when I went in with low expectations for Bhavesh Joshi, and that was like superseded, like it was like, so robust, the film, with so many good themes and great like ideas, that I really enjoyed that. Maybe it wasn't so amazing, but I really like tapped into it. And this one, again, zero expectations, and I was just
giving Indian movies a handicap?
I am. I don't think it's fair, man, because we are only in this game for like, we just started making, we're still trying to figure out. I know it's not fair, and I know people don't want it, right? Why should we give Indian movies a handicap, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's okay, man. Like, I don't think this is innately what our genres are. If you made a bad romance film and those are there, I cannot excuse that shit at all. Like,
absolutely.
You ought to be, like, something you've been doing for 100 years, you ought to do well. Like, we have very little pop culture history in that sense, in this kind of, and we're not even taking something, like, it's like rock and roll, right? Rock and roll was native to, like the British invasion or something like that. It was like a rebellious movement or whatever. And so there's like meaning there, just like you were saying about Superman. But for us, like my friend Harry used to say, it's like, if we ever made rock and roll, it has to be like guys taking tablas and doing, like it has to be native to us. I mean, it doesn't, again, none of this matters now with the internet and shit.
That is like Moodai band competition.
Yeah, fusion. But I'm just saying, I'm giving it a chance because I know we're going to have like better films, right? Whether it's an Andhadhun or Stree or any of these movies that are coming out now, which are finally evolving the formats, and taking it forward. Yeah, it's happening. It's going to take some time. All right.
I think what's changed is that these movies are becoming, probably because of how they're distributed and the fact that audiences, more than filmmakers, are more accepting of these kind of things now. Andhadhun was a big movie, relatively speaking.
Correct, yeah.
Or like Ayushman's other movie
I'm just
last
talking
year,
about competent.
Badai Ho, was like a huge movie and very good movie.
Yeah.
Stree also like surprisingly big, right?
Doing well on the OTT also is what I hear.
That's what I hear as well. Now, there have always been movies like this. There's just more opportunity to make more movies like that now. And especially with like the boom in everybody getting a Netflix show or like an Eros show or an MX Player show or whatever. There's a lot more opportunity to create new stuff, which means that the quality filter also varies wildly, right? Like you can have experimental stuff that's terrible and experimental stuff that's great.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think it's fine to say I'm willing to check everything out, which is why I was kicked for this movie and I wanted to give it a chance.
You got burnt, man.
I got burnt. I'm not saying I'll never watch a movie by this dude again or that this was an unmitigated disaster of a movie. I'm just saying I really didn't like it because I think it set out with a pretty lofty goal, got very confused along the way and made a bit of a mess.
Yeah, I agree with all of those things. Except I wasn't as offended. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know why. You know, usually I'd be a lot more affected.
I'm just hamming it for the podcast, Tejas.
So
like everyone in this movie.
So am I.
All right.
Yep. We did 60 minutes on this, man.
I know. And I feel like we made our point pretty early on.
All right, cool. So if you guys have any thoughts on Vasan Bala's Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota, the Man
I pray you do.
Yeah, this is interesting, actually, because I don't think we've been this decisive.
Yeah, because
divisive.
I'm fully willing to hear positive arguments about this movie.
And I'm fully not giving a shit about any of your garbage opinions. No, I'm again, I don't think I need to spend more time thinking about this film because it didn't. I mean, it's a one and done.
You're talking about wanting to evolve what Indian cinema is doing, then we should be talking about this kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, but we just did 60 minutes on it, man.
That's
I
true,
think we've done our time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why Bhavesh Joshi is still something we speak about quite often, but I'm sure we'll speak about this film again in the future. Yeah. All right. So let us know what you thought about the film. You can write into us, contact geekfruit@gmail.com, or just find us on our social media @geekfruithq. Yeah, man. Dinkar's giving me aankhon ka laser.
Oh, no.
Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, Don Bradman, and now Cyrus Brocha. Okay, probably not in the right company. I mean, Don Bradman is Australian. But it's called Cyrus Says, a wonderful show about everything. Find the show on the IVM Podcast app, ivmpodcast.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Do you have a night routine? Well, everyone has one. And the to-do list usually looks like this. Brush your teeth, set that alarm, get into your pajamas, and switch off those screens. But here's one more to add to that list. Tune into the Positively Unlimited podcast for a dose of positive action and tips on how to build powerful mindsets. Episodes out every Monday on the IVM Podcast app, ivmpodcast.com, or wherever you tune into podcasts.